All right, we are live on YouTube. We're ready to go here. I am Jared Prince from Iowa Aford. I'm on the board, and I'm here to co-host with Mark and Becky Fulmer. They are going to present you with a great session here. Again, for those that are just joining us or have not figured it out, we have a chat feature here on Zoom. I'm sure you've had plenty of opportunities to work with that. Use that as much as possible. We'll keep you muted throughout the session, and you can use that to ask questions about the session or just discuss what's going on in the session. So enjoy this, and I will let Mark and Becky take over.
Awesome.
Hi,
Thanks,
guys.
Jared. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Man, we are excited. Becky and I, let's see, it was a couple of years ago we had the opportunity, I believe, to present and attend and share in person at Iowa. And here we get to do it again, just in a little bit of a different format. So that's we're very excited for this opportunity to meet up with a lot of our Iowa friends to the west, as well as everyone else that's joined in. Very quickly, Becky, I'm Mark, this is Becky, and Becky and I have, we've been really lucky. We spent the bulk of our career teaching at the middle school level. Becky, beyond physical education, was also involved with math and computers and is an instructional coach, and she's been involved with our state organization leadership roles and responsibilities, as well as with Shape Midwest. And I'm very lucky to have her along with us as we go through this journey.
And obviously, this is my husband, Mark. Mark is very active in both our Illinois organization. He's the current past president of IAFord, and he has a bunch of different roles in Shape Midwest and Shape America as well. He also is a past middle school toy in Illinois and Shape Midwest. And so that's provided us with lots of opportunities to get around and travel and get to meet all of you wonderful folks. And hopefully someday we'll be back meeting in person again. We are really, really looking forward to that opportunity because we miss everybody. We miss all the hugs and we miss all the opportunities that that being together provides. But again, this is our best case scenario. So at this point, hopefully everyone is able to see our screen. We do have the bit.ly up that will allow you to get a copy of, we just have a few slides available here. So you guys can either screenshot that or take a picture of it or just jot it down. The Iowa is all caps. So you do need to make sure that it's in all caps to get access. All right.
We're ready. The first piece of information we're going to share out with you is, this is just some technology tools that you can hopefully use to get yourself started. And along with those tools, we've tried to gather some quick resources that go along with that tool. You're going to notice, or at least I want to highlight here, that we have it broken down into 3 categories: remote, social distancing in the gym or PE classroom, and then PE specifically in the classroom. And you'll also notice that we have the opportunity to have or offer our students a hybrid model under all of those categories. So please take a look at this information. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into some of these pieces. If we can move forward to the next slide, please. And here, we just want to share out with you, if you're thinking about using a certain tool, how can you use that? For instance, if you want to get some kind of video feedback, for instance, from your students, you could use Flipgrid. Or if you want to have some kind of remote interaction with your students, we're all used to using Zoom right now, so that would obviously be a tool that could be used for you. And then if you wanted to create some kind of video lesson, you could use Screencastify, Nimbus, as well as Zoom. And then I think a lot of people have had some kind of experience with Google Classroom. If you haven't, we just shared out some ways that you can use that to reach out to your students.
Yeah, and we just wanted to give you those 2 slides because we thought it was kind of a little bit of tech tools in a nutshell. So hopefully that is helpful. You can come back. We did not intend to really cover this information, but we just wanted to make it available to you. On this slide, it's going to look a little bit crazy, and I apologize for that. I just realized that as we've been developing CBHPE and as all of these different options are becoming reality for certain people, we needed to kind of think about where would someone go if they are looking for resources for these various situations. So we really have 4 pages now that do contain options for various situations that you might be in. And this slide is really meant to just tell you, okay, these are the locations that you can go if you're in any of these situations. So feel free again to check this out if you're wondering where to go for resources. We're going to take you through these pages and show you how they work. We have so many brand new resources that have been shared, and they're just outstanding. We also are going to point out to you a lot of things that maybe you haven't needed or haven't considered using in the past that have been up on our site for a while, but in this particular situation could be very useful tools. So we're going to start out in the HPE at Home section of the website and just tell you a little bit about what's there. If you are in the remote setting, this is going to be a page that's going to have a ton of resources for you. This page is already organized by sort of category. So in the top part up here where we have search options, you can search by a particular term. So for example, if you want fitness, which of course there was lots and lots of fitness, if you just type fitness up here, you're going to see all of the resources on this page that include the word fitness. Or if you were interested in wellness, you can type wellness and you're going to get all of the resources that have wellness in the title. There may be some other things that don't happen to use that in the title, but you can kind of get the idea. The other thing that you can do is if you're looking to see, maybe you were on here the middle of May, and so you know what's here from that time on, you can actually move this forward and it'll allow you to just pick out things that, for example, were added since May. So if you're interested in just looking to see what new things. Now you can see this pretty much ends in June because that's when people were, finishing up school, but you can kind of get the idea of the creation date and how that works. As I said, this page is actually already organized for you. So it's organized by, as you can see, secondary phys ed, cognitive activities. Also, some of these might be in more than one place. Dance, we have quite a lot of dance resources, and Victor Spadaro has a ton of dance resources that he's provided with individual gifts for each of the various moves for his dances. I'm also going to add, he has all of his dances on YouTube. I want to add those to all of these. I just haven't had time to do it yet, so that at the end of each one of these, you'll have all the individual moves. And then at the very end, you'll have the video of the full dance as well. So I just haven't gotten to that yet, but I will be working on that. You can see we have a really large fitness section, tons and tons of options in there, which are good warm-ups, etc. The games and challenges section has actually a lot of things from Ben, and is just a website that I put together that you can offer up to your kids as different challenges that they can try. I like the idea of using this as sort of a jumping off point for them. And I offer on that webpage, I offer a Google form that kids can create their own game using. So they look at the various games that are available here, and then using that form, they have to come up with their own game with rules and so on. So you might want to check that out. I think that's a very useful tool. And then in the health and wellness category, tons of resources there. And I just want to mention the resources that are here have lots of resources within them. So you can see the large number of options on these by day and by week and by month and so on. So tons and tons of resources available there. Same thing goes for our lessons and multi-day lessons. These are things that people used in the spring. I think we all realize that, you know, we were kind of doing this on the fly in the spring. So a lot of our lessons really dealt with just physical activity. And we'd just like to really encourage everyone to really start thinking now that we need to make sure that we're actually lesson planning. We're actually looking at progressions, not just activity, 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 but actually something where over a course of a period of time, say a week or 2 weeks, you know, the students will move from, you know, through the process of learning and have some end results at the end of that time.
We want to make sure we put the word education back into physical education and make sure that we're explaining the why of what we're doing to not only our students, but obviously we've made more of a connection with our parents and administrators through this virtual situation. And we need to share that why out to them as well. It's a great opportunity to advocate. And as Becky said, we've done a great job sharing out the physical activity portion of things, but let's take it that next step. And probably as you develop those lessons, as we move in and out of remote and face-to-face situations, we want to make sure that whatever we're doing is always tied together, so that if we're doing something, if we're teaching a certain lesson virtually, that when we do come back together, there's some way that we tie that all together so that the kids start to understand, oh, what I was doing when I was practicing my tossing skills at home, now I see when we get back together and we're doing this activity here, we're still using the same concept of tossing. And now I see how that all fits together.
Yeah. And, you know, again, just really thinking about the GLOs and thinking about the why and backward designing as you're thinking about what kinds of lessons you want to provide for your students is just really, really important. And then we have a section on physical activities and challenges. And then the bottom section, this is kind of an interesting section to me. These are all printables because, you know, we always have to think about that equity issue. But also this could be, many of these resources could be something that you could use in a social distancing PE situation outside where you don't have access to technology, but you could potentially print some of these. So I just wanted to mention that as an example. This full name workout by Jason Steele would be an option that you could use, and you could actually print it and the kids would have it. Now you can see that some of these might not be appropriate for this social distancing setting. So I do have in that, I really wish this wouldn't keep popping up. It's getting in my way. Let me see if I can get rid of this, sorry. I do have a template here that's available too, so that you can create your own full name workout and you can just think about which activities could you do in that social distanced, you know, sort of smaller activity area that students might have. So you might want to take a look at that. And I think that that could be very useful to you and very helpful to you. I think a lot of these printables could be things that could be tweaked in some way to use in that outdoor setting. And I know that you guys are going to need a lot of those outdoor options. So I just wanted to mention this option as something that could be used in PE outside, because that's, of course, the thing we have the least resources for, simply because you're probably not going to have access to technology. So we're going to head on over to projector now. The projector section has a lot of options that are available, and let's take a look.
Yeah, there we go. As it's loading up, the first thing that that I'd like to point out is the ability to search in different fashions. Under the applicable for, you'll see that you can search for hybrid, PE in classroom, remote, social distancing in the gym, or social distancing outside. And then if we go to PE in the classroom, please, thank you. And then you can break that down even further. We have it broken down by elementary, middle school, as well as high school. And you can see just below, if you click on, and Becky's clicked on elementary, we see all the different lessons or ideas that can be used at the elementary level in the classroom setting.
Yeah, and so all of these resources are shown here, and you can click right to them if you prefer the visual.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you scroll down, now I'm a visual person, so this is really helpful for me. I like to get an idea of what it looks like that I'm exploring. And so the thumbnail views are down below, and you just have to scroll through that to get an idea of some of what is offered out there, some of those resources that are offered to you out there.
So we're going to just go into a few of these and let you see.
We're going to get started with the bones. This is a really neat one. This, as it's loading, it's this adds the cognitive piece to this, and as well as activity. Go ahead.
And I just wanted to mention to everyone, it's extremely important that you're not sharing my copy of it with your students. I'm already starting to get the email requests from students because a lot of school districts do not allow their students to access Google files from outside of their G Suite domain. So it's extremely important that you remember that you need to make your own copy, even if it's something that you could use right exactly as it is. You need to make sure you make your own copy. So all you have to do is go to File, make a copy, entire presentation. You'll have your own copy. You can edit it as you wish. You can put your own school name in there, et cetera, if it has that in there, et cetera. But it's very, very important that you make your own copy, because otherwise for many of you, your kids will not be able to access it.
And just adding to that, it's important to you make it your own, that you make it a piece of material that meets your students' needs as well as your personal needs as a teacher. So that's really important. If we continue on with this, it's really neat because, as I mentioned, it's a cognitive piece. What my suggestion here is, the answer is not identified yet. The students see that bone. They have to identify it, femur or tibia, and now give them a few seconds to think through it. Once they think they have the answer, we then reveal the exercises. So if you think it's the femur, we're going to start doing some mountain climbers. If you think it's the tibia, then we're going to go ahead and do the Russian twist. And then ultimately you are going to reveal the correct answer. All right, I was doing mountain climbers because it's the correct answer. Woohoo! And then we move on and we scroll through and we have additional slides. What's really cool about this is not only is it obviously the cognitive piece, but we can use this as a tool to assess, an opportunity to review before a certain assessment. So we can say to the kids, hey, when we're through with this, after we go through this a couple of times over a period of a couple of weeks, we're going to have some kind of assessment. So pay attention to what we're doing here. So I really, really enjoy this one.
And the next one we're going to take you into is one that you may have seen this before on here if you've been on our website, but didn't really think, didn't need it or weren't using it. But this would be a perfect situation to use this. This one is just a simple little game. Let it run, but it can be used in so many different ways.
Shall we begin? Let's begin.
Okay, so I'm going to actually move this forward so it goes a little bit faster, and you can do that as well if you find that your kids are doing it real easily. So basically it just, initially if you were in the classroom, you could be doing this where you have the students just simply stand and tap in the direction of the white spot. So you can see this is starting up, and when it goes, this one's not too fast yet. We're still just in the middle, but so you can see they're going to tap up, forward, and right. back and right, et cetera, et cetera. You can see how this goes. What I love about this game is that you can give the kids the opportunity to think of different ways to play it. So for example, they could be in push-up position and they could move their hands in each direction. They could be in push-up position and they could move their hands and their feet if it's going back. And then from there, you could actually, let's say you were in a hybrid setting and you're only seeing your kids a couple of times a week. You could play this with them and then you could say, okay, now your assignment for tomorrow is to play this with your family. And as a family, you guys need to try to come up with a different way to play this, or with someone in your family, or however you want to word that, depending on your students. But you could have them actually come up with a game. And then this could be something that various students could share out as over time as your warm up. So again, this is just a very simple thing, but it can be used in a lot of different ways. And this is from Rebecca Meyer. She just does amazing work. And the first one was from Julie Hudnall. Again, amazing, amazing work.
Next one we want to share out with you is a dance move challenge.
And we're actually gonna
click over
research.
to, right. So we get a little bit of a different view here. And
we're gonna do SD and PE.
Gym, right. And then let's do the middle school. Beautiful. Now this is just my opinion, but I think dance and yoga, obviously we know fitness, are going to play a really big role in what we're presenting to our students. And I think this is a great opportunity to share out dance. I know from a personal standpoint, that was just one of those situations as a younger person I'm just so uncomfortable with. And it's just such a fun way to move and be active. So I think dance, as I said, is going to be a really important lesson opportunity for us with the students. Now, once this comes up, as you can see in the upper left corner, we have the opportunity to roll the dice. Now, I view this as a way to use it as an instant activity, a warm-up that leads into some kind of dance, creative dance lesson or unit. I think this can be used, well, I'll talk about that in a moment. Let's hit the dice first. So we tap on the dice, and then when we want to stop rolling, we click on it again. 8. So we look at number 8. We see that it's the knee wobble. We're all going to practice the knee wobble. As the instructor, you can set the time that you want the students to practice that. Okay, now we're ready to move on to the next dance move that we want to practice. What I like is this gives us a chance to, again, homework, and it seems to be a bad word, and I don't think it is. This is an opportunity to have students at home practice these and then create their own 3, 4, 5 moves that you want to have them present back to you. And there's your assessment piece. And what's really cool is you could have them do that assessment piece as a flip grid, however your situation works out in these particular times.
We're going to try to move through
Yeah,
rather quickly because we want to make sure that we want to make sure we get through as much as we can. The next one that I want to show you, we don't have, as I said, because of the lack of technology outside, there's not as much in this one because this is obviously projector, but I will say that if you do search SDMPE outside on this particular page, you will come up with a couple that you could use. And I just want to mention this because some of you might not be familiar with the ability to do this. This is a fun one that Kevin Tiller created where they have to figure out what it's telling them to do using the rebus. And you can see them all over here. But what I want to show you is I think you could use this you could use this outside, but you're probably thinking, well, I don't want to print a 7-page packet or 8-page packet for every kid, or 7 or 6. And I understand that. So one of the really cool things you can do in slides that you may not be aware of is if you go to File and then Print Settings and Preview, one of your options right up here is to click Handout 9 slides per page. So if you do that, you get one single page with all of these rebuses for the students to try. So I don't know if it's rebuy or rebuses, but anyway, this would be something that you could print for every student, and you could have them try this, and you could have them either try it themselves, or they could be in a social distance small group, and they could see if they could figure it out. And when they figure it out, then they all do it. It could be really fun, and they could even try coming up with their own. Again, if you were in that hybrid situation, this would be really fun, because you could show them this, and then for the following day that they come in, their homework or what they need to do during their days at home is to figure out their own rebus. And they could create one. You could even give them a Google Slides presentation if you're using Google Classroom. You could assign them a specific number of slide, and then they have to actually put it into the slide, which would be a really, really cool way to do it. And you could use that with multiple grade levels.
Off to templates.
All right. So that kind of gives you just a little quick, there's tons and tons of resources here, but we just wanted to show you a few different types of options. We're going to head over to templates now. And again, templates has the ability to search by whichever situation you might happen to be in. So if I were going to do a search for high school, let's say, and I want to do something that is maybe for that remote setting, so I could do applicable for remote, and I could use high school. I'm going to get all of the resources that are available here that could be used in a high school remote setting. Now, again, you still have the thumbnail view down here. These you cannot search and sort of limit them by thumbnail. I just don't have the ability to do that, but at least you can do it up here. So the first one we're going to take a look at as an option, just so that you can see what's available here, is a hyperdoc called Developing a Workout Plan. This would be one also that could be done in either that remote or the hybrid setting if you wanted to, where you could have some discussion about these things. Notice on this one, it says we will watch this video together as a class. So if you were in the hybrid, you could watch it together. If you're not in the hybrid, you would want to take that off. Again, when you make your own copy, reminder, file, make a copy, entire presentation, so your students have all of the pieces that they need. Everything that's needed for this is included on this slide, or in this slide presentation. I just want to mention, just a shout out, this video right here is amazing. You will enjoy it, I guarantee you. This guy is just very, very impressive. And so even if you don't decide to use this resource, take the time to watch this video. It's just really, really cool. So students have the opportunity to learn about various topics, so you can see what the questions are and what they're going to learn about using these links. When they click on these links, it's going to take them, and they can be in present mode, or they don't have to be in present mode, because they're going to be entering information. In some ways, it's probably just as well if they're not in present mode while they're working. But basically, this is going to take them to where the information is. They have an article to read here, as well as a video to watch afterwards. And once they've finished those two slides, you'll notice that there's an option to click to share what they've learned. And they're going to, oops, sorry about that. And they're going to head back over to the initial slide. It's not quite, I have to have my screen in a little strange way because of presenting here, and so I can't quite get to everything. But anyway, once they finish those, then they're going to come back up here, and they're going to write a little synopsis of what they learned from that information, and that would include obviously explaining what is fitness and so on. And then after they're done learning about all of these topics, they are going to be moving through. Let me see. They are going to be moving further through the presentation, where they're going to learn about each of the fitness components. And then they're going to choose some exercises that they are going to do. So they're actually setting up their workout plan, how often, how long, why they chose it. And then they're going to actually do the workout plan. And once they do the workout plan for a week, then they're going to tweak it. So if you get a chance, again, I have to move forward because we have a lot to do, but I just want you to kind of get the idea of what's available here.
As Becky's moving to our next slide, I just want to share out with you the use of hyperdocs and how important they can be for you as a teacher, not only in this situation, but in general. I was lucky enough to be involved, I used hyperdocs in my own classroom setting and was lucky enough to be involved with a study by the University of Illinois. And we were able to show that we actually gained additional time because our students were going through the material ahead of time before coming to class. And then once they got to class, we could focus in right on the activity itself rather quickly. And it also helped me as a teacher because I could see the responses of the students and it helped guide my teaching. I could give that personal touch to the kids. This next one that we want to go to is more of a health, but we a hybrid, and it's cardio. And again, using the HyperDoc Heart Rate Lab HyperDoc, again, I just want to share out with you, if we think of HyperDocs, if we flip them, so if we're in a setting where we're only in a classroom, we could do the teaching part there and have the students work on the activity part at home where they have a little more space, they have access to props, whatever it might be. What's really neat about this one is we're going to teach our students how to take their pulse. Where do we do that? And it goes through that whole explanation. Following that up, we always have a reflection piece. So after they perform this, they then give us their responses. Resources are shared for them to do individual research, and then they share with us what they learned. So this is a really nice piece if we're looking to do some kind of assessment or check-in with our students. As we move forward, now we have the opportunity to actually go through and add that activity piece. No, it's not intense, but what we're asking the students to do, trial one, they're going to take their resting heart rate. And then we're going to add in a little activity to it, 30 seconds of jumping jacks, as you can see. And then they're going to record, after a period of time of rest, they're going to record the recovery heart rate. And they're going to repeat that trial 3 times total. So they're repeating it 2 times. And then we can get back to the class, put in our average. And as we continue through, now we can graph. Again, this is something that can be done in the classroom if we're stuck in the classroom and have no access to activity. And they can share out their results in this format, which is kind of a cool deal. And again, when we continue through, there is another assessment piece where they can share out, or as it says, reflection piece, where they can share out information.
Yeah, so HyperDocs are really an outstanding resource. I actually don't have the HyperDocs library linked on any of these pages, but I'm going to add that. I have it in our resources page. The other thing that I want to talk about is Edpuzzle, which is just a terrific, terrific tool. And if you have not had an opportunity to check it out, it's really an amazing tool. Basically, you can take any video that's available online or a video that you create yourself, and you can add questions within that particular video. There's a huge difference between giving students a video and saying, watch this, and giving students a video and having them actually interact during that video so that you can really guide their learning as the video is progressing. I have to show you some of this that was created by Coach Williams, Crystal Williams. Those of you who know her know she's just absolutely amazing, just an amazing teacher. And I'm gonna actually let you see part of this because you'll understand what I mean by her being an amazing teacher when you see this.
Started with PE at home with Coach Williams. We're gonna get started with our warm-up.
Are you guys able to hear that okay? Jared?
I can hear your voice. It's kind of faint, but I can hear it.
I'm gonna try to turn mine all the way up and see if I can hear it. If not, we'll just have to have you guys go check it.
To choose from. Click the link of the one you would like to do in the pop-up box. The first one is Supergirl. The second one is the Black Panther. And the last one is the Avengers.
And so the student then chooses which one they want to do, clicks on it, goes out, does it, comes back in, and continues.
Let's read our objective together. I can demonstrate the 3 underhand throwing cues. What are we learning about today? Answer that in the pop-up box.
And so they have to answer it and submit.
Let's watch a couple of highlights. The first video shows underhand throwing being used in a game of horseshoes. The next highlight video shows the underhand throwing technique used to save someone that is drowning. He didn't step with his opposite foot in the video. However, it didn't matter because he did get the flotation device to the person in need. Why is underhand throwing a good skill to learn? Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop there because we don't have enough time. But you can see, and again, if you couldn't hear everything, please feel free to check it out. But it's outstanding. So Crystal made her own video that she then used Edpuzzle to be able to add questions. And you can see all these spots along here are where there are various questions or activities for the kids to do. You don't have to create your own videos though. For example, I did a sample one here. I'm not going to run it because of time constraints, but this one was about running in space, how the astronauts stay healthy in space. It's really, really a cool video. I just enjoyed it myself just for my own knowledge. But if you check that out, you can get the idea again of how you can guide the students' learning and have them rewind and rewatch if they get a question wrong. So this is just something that is an amazing, amazing tool. And we have a bunch of examples here to show you. Feel free to check those out. And one thing that you'll notice when you do go to one of these, you'll notice that you have the option to copy it. So all you have to do, oh, this is going to say edit because this is mine. Let me do Crystal, sorry. So you will actually have the opportunity to copy it. And when you make a copy of it, then you can edit it any way you want. So you just click copy. It allows you to edit it. You can change these. You can change the questions, etc. It will be in your own account. It's a free teacher account. I give you all kinds of information about how to use it here. There's information about how to set up your classes. If you're using Google Classroom, you can pull them right in from your Google Classroom. You don't even have to set them up separately.
We're going to get back to school.
All right. So the next section that we're going to do is our back to school section, which is where we've been collecting the most recent resources as people have developed and designed them.
You're going to see a list of names that were involved with gathering all of these resources on the left. On the right, this is a really important piece that Jamie and Kim Ballard put together that shares out the re-entry guidelines within each state. And then you're going to notice in the right-hand column, the national partner resources, major organizations that share out information and suggestions for school re-entry. And you'll notice Shape America is also one of those. As we scroll down, you're going to see a video on the right-hand side that Kate Cox did, and this is an outstanding video. She interviews a cardiologist on the use of masks in physical education. And if nothing else, again, watch this video. It's very informative and may help in your decision-making process moving forward. We also share out some other resources about wearing masks during activity on the left-hand side. If we continue to scroll down.
And then this research is really, really interesting. I found it very interesting, and I actually have really changed my habits when I'm out walking, biking, running, whatever I might be out doing. I'm just going to take you down to page 10, which is where it shows the slipstream of people when they are running or walking. And it's really, really interesting to see the difference between where you happen to be positioned. So even if you're a little bit offset from someone, it completely changes how much of their aerosolized exhalation you're actually taking in. So this was really eye-opening and really valuable for me. And over here, I have made sure that I sort of summarized what it's saying or what they figured out in terms of how far away you really need to be for safety.
And I need to follow up on the picture end of things of the slipstream and why this is important. I happen to be involved with high school department chairs in Illinois, and some of the administrators are dictating to the physical education teachers on what they can and can't do. And several of them are saying, all you're going to be able to do is walk or jog, single file line outside. Well, now we can take back with evidence that that's probably not the best thing to do, and that we need to reconsider how we go about doing that.
And then as you go down this page, you'll just see a lot of various resources.
You'll notice, well, I think we can keep moving on because as you can see, there's just ways of how you can use certain tools, suggestions on the resources that go along with those tools shared. And then if we continue on.
So this resource was shared by Stephanie Klafke, who's actually out of Iowa. This is amazing, an amazing resource. She just collected all kinds of trainings for various tools. And you guys can see all the different tools that she has collected trainings on. She's collected Google information, and you can see based on the different, it doesn't render quite correctly on here, but you can get the idea. And you can see the various information that she has found on those topics, and then even information for students and parents that she is collecting here. You can also get your own copy if you want to collect your own and utilize that. This is an amazing tool right here. If you are a Google school, or if you are using Google and you haven't had the opportunity to learn about specific tools, all you have to do is click on any one of these tools. So if you want to learn about Google Slides, just click this. It's going to take you out to a page that is all of the links related to Google Slides. So let's say you're interested in learning how to change the page size. You didn't know you could change the page size. It's going to take you to a GIF. You can see what it's doing here. It's showing you exactly how to make a change. Change the page size. If you want to make it portrait, you would do 11 by 8.5 if you want, or 8.5 by 11. If you want to do landscape, you would do 11 by 8.5. And you can see that GIF over and over and over again. What's really cool is we in health and physical education have known how awesome GIFs are for a long time, and now we're seeing more and more of it in other subject areas as well, as they take advantage of GIFs as well. So again, this is an amazing tool for you to learn whatever you might want to learn. Equity, diversity, and inclusion. This resource was put together by our group of middle school teachers that you saw up above. This is an amazing tool to really help you think about how you are making your classroom a safe learning environment for everyone. And if you guys take a look at this, the resources they've included here are amazing and incredibly valuable.
As we continue through, we've shared out some elementary and secondary school resources to help you through this process. A couple that I'd like to identify or highlight.
Maybe
the in-person.
We'll not open them up.
Yeah. This in-person one that Crystal Williams once again put together, it is amazing. It includes the warm-up activity, the activity itself, and then some kind of reflection or cool down. And it's a whole series or full unit. And then another one that I want to identify with that will help you through developing a hybrid teaching model is Derek Beal's hybrid teaching. And please take the time to go through. If you're not familiar with that or how to do that, this is almost like a tutorial to get you through that process.
And I've also added Google Forms assessments that can really be taken advantage of in this particular situation, no matter which setting you happen to be in. So you might want to take a look. There's the opportunity to preview and to make a copy.
As you continue through, we get to the advocacy piece. this is really important. It's always important to promote and push our program with people, but here we have an opportunity to share out articles, videos, as well as printed material to not only our students, but to the parents and administrators, those decision makers. And that's really, really important. It's always important, but it's critically important now that we share this kind of information with those individuals.
And last but not least, on this page, we have a bunch of video tutorials. A lot of these come from Iowa. You guys were way out in front of this, getting your videos ready to go for people. So basically, if you want to learn more about Google Classroom, you click here. If you want to learn more about Flipgrid, you click here, and it's going to zip you right to the video. You can see this is done by Chris. And allow you to watch that. If you click back to the video list, you'll be able to go back and see what other options are available. I'll be continuing to add to this. These are almost all specific to health and physical education. There's a couple of them that were more generic that actually work perfectly well for health and PE teachers, but most of these are specific to health and physical education. So that's pretty much all we have.
The last thing we'll share is we're always adding additional resources and trying to make this as easy to navigate as possible to people who go on the site. And if you ever have any questions, please reach out to us. Our contact information is on the website itself. We can always help you out.
And we promise we will help you. We will do a Zoom with you. We will give you step-by-step screenshot directions if you need them. If you need to know or want to know how to do something, we are happy to help you. And just reach out. One other thing that we did not mention is in the resources section that I think is just an absolute tool that you must have, that you really need to use all the time, and that's the National Standards and GLOs locator. That tool really can help you find what you're looking for and really think about that backward design. Here is the GLO that I'm trying to meet with my students, and then I'm going to go find the resources that I need to meet those particular GLOs. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah, and then Jared, if there are any questions, we can try to answer those.
Actually, you guys did a great job of just answering them as you're talking about it. So we don't have a lot of questions. A lot of people are very thankful for all that you do and all that you do for our community, and as am I, and we really appreciate you sharing your fantastic resource you have there with CBHP. So thank you for presenting. Thank you for being here. Everyone, thanks for coming. If you want to continue the conversation, there's always Twitter, or find out more of their contact information from the website that they shared. So again, thank you, and we'll see you all later.
Yeah, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to ask, anytime, like we said. And I feel kind of bad because I feel like, because there's so much going on right now, I know that there's a lot of locations that we have things, and I've been racking my brain trying to think of a way to do a better job. But there's just a lot. I mean, people are going to, I believe, be moving in and out of these various situations over the course of time. So I think, you might think you only need X, and then, all of a sudden a week from now, you're doing Y. And so we're just trying to make sure that we have your back, sort of that if you're in that situation, you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for this? You've got somewhere to go to sort of get things moving along. And we don't, we're not sharing everything as here, use it. We're sharing it as here's a great way to start, and then you make it what you need. And it's a lot faster than having to start something completely from scratch. So, I mean, that's really what our thinking is to give you, hey, here's something I can work with, and it's going to be faster than having to start, completely from scratch.
Because we know everything cannot be a cookie cutter model. You have to adapt and tweak it to meet your students' needs. That's the most important thing. Always remember your students. How can I make this better for my kids?
Yeah, and I just want to mention Ben. Ben has just such an amazing dance section on his
Absolutely.
site, and it's one of our video sets resources. His is in there, and I mean, especially like all of his seated dances are going to be awesome for a classroom situation. You know, there's so many things that we have available that people have worked so incredibly hard to do, and now all that work is really becoming valuable to people. So it's, you know, our goal is just try to get it to you and have it easy to find.
Thank you, Becky and Mark. I got to close out the session so the next one
Yep.
can start.
Thank you.
And
Thank
any
you.
questions, please reach out to them on Twitter, guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
Bye,
you.
everyone.